killing the people that are exposing the cover-up. Just like with Private Lynch, the people exposing the cover-up, 5 of them got killed that survived in her unit, and then she finally went public and said, it's all fake, none of it's true. They told me to lie so they could get women in the military. Pat Tillman, he wasn't going along with all the drug dealing and everything. He wasn't going to go along with the cover-up. They killed him. Turned out it was murder. I mean, it's totally dishonorable and evil system. And now the hoax, it's not that they don't want you to know how to get stuff through TSA. It's the fact that it's all a fraud. They've tried to block other federal agencies that have shown they can sneak stuff through, who do actually care about security, because it isn't about that. It's about dog training you to be a slave. So now they're blocking the video of an engineer up there showing people that he's able to do this and proving it. In America, Obama is arresting whistleblowers and journalists more than any other president combined, and it's not even a news item. And Breitbart's dead. And I'm getting threats. And Michael Savage, love him or hate him, he's hiding out with bodyguards. I mean, this is real. I mean, they don't want you to understand the magnitude of what I'm doing and what others are doing out here in the open. Toll-free number to join us, 800-259-9231. You've heard what I talked about. Government pedophile rings in the news, censorship on YouTube, whatever. I want to hear what you have to say. 800-259-9231. Straight ahead. We'll be right back. All right, we're going to go ahead and go to some of your phone calls here, and then I'll get into more on what's happening with the election, more on government child rape rings, just in the mainstream news, just who they are. And the madam will go to jail. Nobody else will get in trouble. They're probably just busting this group to blackmail people even more. It's just our country. It's run by every form of scum you can imagine, with a bunch of naive people sucking their thumbs, and those of us that are awake to it, we're the bad people. Chad in New York, you're on the air. Welcome.
Hello, Mr. Jones. How you doing today, sir?
I'm great. Good to have you here with us.
Okay, sir. I've been trying to get a hold of you for a couple weeks now. I tried putting out a video on YouTube, and I got blocked, and my subscription got canceled. The reason why I was trying to get a hold of you is because I think I came up with a good idea how we could possibly strike a blow for humanity. And what I'm trying to do is organize a work stoppage in this country. I personally believe the only way we're ever going to be able to strike a blow for the little guy is, I don't care how you do it. I don't care who takes credit for it. I really don't care. But
yeah, a lot of people have talked about work stoppages and strikes and things like that, sir. In the IMF World Bank plans leaked in 2002, they actually like those. They're happy for a country to totally collapse for a year. They're globalists. They have unlimited trillions they made up out of nothing. In the old days, real factories, real businesses cared. Now they love it, because then everything collapses even more, and then they go in and buy everything up for pennies on the dollar with unlimited money the mega banks that are setting up world government issue. You've got to get rid of the Federal Reserve. You've got to get rid of private banks controlling the currency that they use to then shut down real private banks that are, loaning in your area. Now, government strikes would work. The military, the police, refusing to do illegal, unlawful things, that type of thing will work. But a lot of strikes have been tried. A lot of people talk about that. But the unions are all basically globalist controlled. So they always call, ban guns, communism. That's their demands. It's never like unions, demanding, hey, we want tariffs because China's got hidden tariffs on us. We want tariffs, so we're going to strike. No, they always make deals to then train the group to ship their jobs to India. So that's my issue on that front.
Okay, and the other thing I wanted to tell you, Mr. Jones, I'm using my cab that I drive every day to spread the word to everybody that I meet that I feel like is worth saving, the people that, like you said a couple weeks ago, that are in the water that you think can swim. I'm actually trying to put the word out there for you, Mr. Jones. I'm doing everything I can, but I feel like sometimes I feel like it's a losing battle. But
okay, well, quit then. I appreciate your call. If I was you, I'd quit then. If I was you, I wouldn't tell anybody. And by the way, you're not telling people in your cab about the New World Order from me. I mean, let's people that are fighting the New World Order are doing it for humanity and the current generation and future generations. you know, you say you're calling from New York City. I see a lot of people that are awake when I'm in New York. The problem is they all feel like you. They are a lot of them, oh, I don't have any power. What can I do? So, you know, move to another area, because I see people doing a lot all over this country. I see the states' rights nullification movement taking place. I see people rediscovering the Bill of Rights and Constitution. They just had a federal ruling that you can have guns on campus. How do you restrict my right because somebody else might come shoot somebody? I need my gun to protect myself. These gun-free zones are unconstitutional. You know, we're having a lot of big successes. Record gun sales, that's a success right there. Record numbers of people calling themselves preppers now. If this was 1970, you should be prepping. You just need to be prepared. You need to have a backup. That's just common sense. People are waking up, and I understand it gets frustrating. Info from Maryland. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Hi, Alex Jones. How you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Basically, I wanted to ask you about something here.
All right, turbocharge, adrenaline. Tell me what you want.
Okay. Back in October, Matt Kaiser said something about a banker that died in the World Trade Center, and he basically got $5 million. I was wondering, would there be any way to basically claim that money or something like that?
Yeah, I appreciate your call. He was telling the story. It was in the news at the time. It was like $10 million or something of a suicide banker. He thought he knew he could die, but he wanted to stay there to do some trades, knowing people were panicking to make a bunch of money, ended up giving up his life. And that's an analogy, a parable to bankers destroying the world so they can take it over. I appreciate your call. You know, it's good talking to these callers, but you know what? We don't screen your calls. I want people to sound like they're awake. It's funny, when I did a daytime show for years, people, when we don't screen calls, some are great calls, some sound like they're asleep, but at night people are on fire and they're awake because, you know, it's after work or whatever. Whenever I say call in on one topic, great calls, because it's a specific issue. But when I just say phones are open, I shouldn't do that anymore. I guess it's always, things are changing around here. Things always need to be, I guess, a topic, like everybody else does in talk radio. And I guess, you know, we won't scream what your opinion is, but we need to start making sure people have got a pulse. So, John Harmon, you hear what I'm saying? If you can't even hear them over the telephone and they sound like they're injecting heroin, then I don't want them on my show. Do you understand that, John? All right. Just because I just can't handle it. I mean, I'm not mad at people. It's just that it's all coming down, okay? And everybody is in a coma haze in this country, and I can't be around it anymore. I think that's really what it is. Everybody's in a coma. People are in a daze. The stuff they're putting in the water and everything is not working on me, man. It's not working on me. Let's go ahead and talk to CJ in Michigan. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, brother. Ah!
That's good. That's kind of a half asleep yell, though. Come on, let me hear some. Let me hear some real growl there. Come on, right now. That's a little better.
Okay, Alex, I want to talk to you about an article you have on Infowars.com by Paul Joseph Watson. It was the is Ron Paul warming up to VP slot or whatever with a question mark. Look at that interview. He is not even closely considering it. In fact, what
you know what? I don't sit there with my writers like Kurt Nimmo, Aaron Dykes, Paul Watson, Steve Watson. I don't pre-approve their articles, and occasionally I see something that I don't really agree with the interpretation of, and Paul was just being friendly, in his statements. And I've already told you what everybody inside the campaign is telling me. No way is he doing that. That was a Steve Watson article, by the way, that was written, to be specific. And I don't really agree with Steve's interpretation of it.
I just wanted to put that out because I see a lot of comments. You know, they're always who knows? There's sock puppets or whatever, trolls trying to say, oh, disinformation. I know it's not that.
Well, no, I mean, Steve was also reporting. I remember reading a couple days ago. He was also reporting on what other people were reporting on. So I mean, he mainly pretty much covers the Ron Paul beat and writes incredibly positive articles multiple times a day on every facet at Infowars.com, Prisonplanet.com, and Infowars.net. Forget about that great site. So I hear you, and I appreciate your call. Okay, let's go ahead and go to Daniel in New York City. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. I'm alive, but I'm at the job, so I can't be screaming. But
listen, you don't need to scream, but I can actually hear what you're saying. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. I just want to say I'm not crazy because I believe in the Bill of Rights and Constitution. Now, I'm sick and tired of the family court calling me crazy because I believe that I have constitutional rights and the Bill of Rights.
No, that's what they do. I've been in the family courts watching it as a reporter, and they say the Bill of Rights and Constitution isn't here. We're family court. And, of course, the family court probably doesn't even know they were set up in 1915 on average as a race hygiene eugenics court that's outside of the Constitution and does not follow due process and is completely illegitimate.
So I told the judge, I said, look, whatever you do to me, I'm going to sue you for it. I'm just going to have to sue you in your individual capacity. Whatever you do. Shay told me I should be glad that I have enough time with my daughter. You know what I'm saying? I give you a day here, a day there, and I want equality. But they said that doesn't exist here.
No, it's all about keeping men out of the house because the state can then be the daddy. They did that in ancient Rome. They do it in every culture. You keep the men away from the children. And I'll go back to slavery right now. This was in Rome with white slaves is where they developed it. You keep the women in the main castle, you keep the men out there in the fields, and you take the kids in to be trained in the system that you choose. And that's all this is ending men in the house, ending the family, to turn us into this nightmare society.
I'm tired of it. And I believe that everybody should fight. You know, everybody should definitely get up and do something. Don't be discouraged when they put us down, because my Bible says that the race is not given to the swift or the strong, but he who endures to the end. So you got to keep fighting. You can't just stop and lay down. And I'm not going to lay down. I told them I was going to do whatever I have to do, file whatever papers I have to file. And they calling me crazy. They said, "Oh, he's crazy. He needs a psychiatric evaluation."
I mean, look. You're calling from New York. I mean, that's up there's where the government officials are in there with little kids having sex. That's in the newspapers there. So see, no, they're the ones that are crazy sick and crazy evil. And of course they always play that mind game. You're crazy you don't like the TSA sticking their hands down your pants. You're crazy you don't like the Army at the Kite Festival in Austin. You're crazy you don't like cameras in bathrooms watching you now. You're crazy that you don't like us to pull you over without a warrant and take your cell phone and download the contents. No, they're crazy, out of control tyrants. You're crazy to not want a private New World Order. Well, I thought I was crazy for predicting the private New World Order. I mean, again, that's a simple mind game. And you know what? I love that Bible verse. I forget the verse, but that should be our motto because it is about resistance. It is about perseverance. It is about never backing down, never stopping, and having the moral authority and having courage. Quote that Bible verse again and tell us the verse if you can remember it.
I don't remember it off the top of my head, but I know that it says it in the Bible. It says it's not the race is not given to the swift nor the strong, but he who endureth to the end, he will gain the kingdom of heaven. But that's what I'm saying. Thanks, Alex, for what you do, and I just want to encourage everybody else to just persist and keep being persistent. Don't take no for an answer. Yeah, you do this to me, well, I'll sue you there. Maybe I'll sue you in your individual capacity. Maybe I'll do this. Maybe I'll do that.
Maybe I'll start legally following you around with a video camera and see what you're doing. And when you get out drunk, get in your car, I'm going to call the cops on you. Maybe I'm going to start digging into... Exactly. It's time to do whatever you can to these scum. Oh, I'm crazy? You're going to find out how crazy I am.
That's right. I'm very tired. I'm tired. I've been fighting this fight only for 3 years. And it's very...